Hello, welcome. I am Lindsay Leibowitz with Greater Good Funds and here to provide you with fundraising tips. Today, I'd really like to talk about how grants and sponsorships are different and why it matters to you of whether you are seeking out a grant or a sponsorship. I get this question all the time. What's a grant? What's a sponsorship? Are they the same thing? And there are a few differences to each. So first, I want to talk about why it matters. Organizations that you are reaching out to are just going to want you to be really specific and know what you're asking for. So it matters in terms of where to look on their website, how to apply, and again, just really framing your ask in a way that everyone knows exactly what you're asking for and how you will spend the funds. So first, I will talk about grants. Grants are typically obtained through a grant application. This is usually these days in an online format process with a lot of different questions that is really going to get to the heart of what you're asking for, what your program might look like, the impact that the grant will have, exactly how you will spend the funds. These are going to come from a foundation or a corporate foundation. Of course, there's also government grants as well. In a grant application, there is going to be a question typically of what are your goals and what are your objectives? And then the grantor is going to ask you to follow up on that and report on that in about a year and ask you how you spent the funds, what the impact was, what was the outcome of those funds being spent. So now I'll move on to sponsorships, and sponsorships are typically given to support a fundraising event. So this might be your school auction or your nonprofit's gala. And then a company or foundation will support the event in a monetary way in exchange for their logo being used in your event's advertisements. There might be other kinds of ROI or rate of return that they're looking for, like PR, visibility. Maybe you provide them with some tickets to the event as well. And these are just secured, usually in a little bit easier fashion. Some sponsorships you can even get by just making a phone call or sending an email to the organization. Some will certainly have an online application form as well, but usually for a sponsorship, it's just a simpler application. It might ask, what's the mission of your organization? How many people will attend the event? What the impact might be with the funds, and that's it. It's usually going to take you about 20 to 30 minutes to fill out, and just not quite as many questions as a grant application. Now, there is one nuance to this where some companies will have on their website, click here to apply for a grant. And during that application process, it might say, is this a grant or is this a sponsorship? So I just don't want to discourage you from kind of poking around and looking at those opportunities that say grants when you're looking for a sponsorship, because some companies just will use the same form for both types of applications. And then another piece about sponsorships that are really great is that they can typically be used as general operating funds or even to pay for the event itself. There's just not quite as much reporting involved in terms of exactly how the money was spent. And there's usually not follow-up a year later to ask about impact. So it can be a really great way for nonprofits or schools to get some funding that just doesn't have a ton of strings attached. All right, that's it for today. I hope you learned what the difference is between a grant and a sponsorship, and I hope that just makes your fundraising a little bit easier. I do want to let you know that I have a new free download on my website giving you 46 different recognition and thank you ideas for event sponsors. So I hope you check that out. I will link it here below. Thanks so much. I hope you tune in next time.